Welcome back to the Culture Friends YouTube channel. My name is Garrett, and today I am finally bringing you my review and thoughts for the Season 2 finale of The Mandalorian, entitled The Rescue. Now, I'm not gonna act like this is new in my head. It's not. I watched this a couple weeks ago, late when it came out, like a week and a half after it came out. I was packed busy. I was in Orlando working the wedding. I was in the theater working 8 days in a row because why? Don't know! And then I took more time off because of things I'm going to talk about in another video later on. Once I get through this review and get through the rest of the 2020 films I have yet to review, then I'm going to talk about what I want to do with YouTube, because some things have to change. And it's a lot mentally that needs to change, but that can be saved for later. Right now, it's me getting back into making videos. It doesn't feel like something bad now, and I'm in a good mental space to where I can talk to you, people that watch this video. Thank you for doing that, by the way. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep doing so, and the bell, because that's important too. But let's get into Star Wars, and I have to say, story-wise, I like what this episode did, but at the same time, this episode felt boring to me. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fucking amazing things that happened in this episode. I'm gonna talk about spoilers. It's been so long since this episode came out. Everyone's probably seen it already. So let's just dive into it. Luke Skywalker returns. While it is awesome to see him, his lightsaber stuff was a little bit boring. You make these droids, these dark troopers, to be a menacing threat, and it takes Mando to use basically all of his arsenal and get to use his staff, his spear, as the weapon that can take them down. So we've beat one of these so far. And then you have all of our characters who are in, like, the command area of the ship. They are surrounded at the doors by the dark troopers that Mando sent out into space, but they have jetpacks, which we saw earlier, so they can get back inside. They're not people. Space doesn't ruin droids. So you get them back in the ship, they're surrounding them. Then you have the Ex Machina of Ex Machinas. You literally have a Jedi, the strongest one at this point that we know to be alive. He just takes them down as if they're stormtroopers. Like, they're exceptionally easy for his lightsaber to slice through, and they're not this big threat. When we know droids can be fucking scary, I mean, the Clone Wars are a thing. If droids were that easy to defeat, it would have been a quick win. Of course, there's so many more droids than there are in this ship, but narratively, it was just easy. Luke Skywalker just flies through them, and the way they reveal that it's Luke, you have the X-Wing show up first, and then you see his lightsaber turn green, and you're like, okay, who wears, and then you see his glove over his hand that he lost. I think that's his hand that he lost. So the reveal of that it's Luke was so drawn out, and I know why, because you would have to show you him, and instead of recasting Luke Skywalker, they did the de-aging technology that they used for, like, Rogue One, Chapter 2, Captain Marvel, a bunch of other Marvel movies. And it looks bad. He doesn't look good. He looks like a very poorly rendered video game character, which is infuriating to me as a fan that, hey, here's a character I really love. It's him, but it doesn't look like him, and I can't believe that he's actually there. Sure, they had Mark Hamill come in, and they did something to his voice as well to de-age it. I really think you should have recast him. Sure, people would have hated that. How dare you it not be Mark Hamill? What you could have also done is have it had not been Luke. When The Mandalorian started, my biggest love for it is that it wasn't a heightened story. It's not part of the now named Skywalker Saga. Even though Rey isn't a Skywalker, I don't... Why the Skywalker? Why did you have to ruin so many things? I liked that it was the lower levels. It's the bounty hunters. It's people that, on a small scale, affect change in the Star Wars universe. making Grogu the impact Grogu has. And now that Luke has him and he's going to show up in other shows and whatnot, they better recast him if they're going to make Luke show up in other shows. It's losing the charm because you're making this a much bigger story than I think the character allows. And what they do with this episode is some really fun stuff. You have Cara Dune with the Imperial soldier, their little standoff, very fun writing. I love that part of the script. You have then Mando's fight with Moff Gideon, their really interesting discussion, and then the fight afterwards, and he's just laughing when he gets defeated. So funny, so good. I love it. It's great. Then you have the reveal. Throughout the episode, Bo-Katan has been saying, as long as Moff Gideon surrenders to me, you can do whatever the fuck you want with him. And so Mando walks in. For some reason, he turns the darksaber on, I guess to make sure Moff Gideon doesn't do anything bad. The paradigm shift in Bo-Katan and Mando's relationship is happening. So now Bo-Katan must defeat Din in battle so that she can wield the darksaber. Because the time before she didn't do that, it didn't stick with other Mandalorians that she is a leader in charge. And she won't accept it from him giving it to her. Or like, I surrender, here, give it, take it, whatever, I don't want this. She needs to defeat him in battle. And I was wanting this to happen, and it didn't happen because Dark Troopers were coming in. And then Luke Skywalker shows up. And the pacing of the episode just grinds to a halt because Luke shows up. And yes, it is very sad and somber, and I almost cried in Grogu's goodbye because he takes his helmet off so Baby Yoda, Grogu, can see him. And it's endearing, it's sweet. It was a really good way to end the episode if you didn't have so much hanging off. Because we won't see these characters this year at all. We're not going to see them in 2021. We're getting Boba Fett show at the end of the year, and that's it. We are not seeing Din, Bo-Katan, Cara Dune, any of these characters for more than a year. You should have ended the season better instead of just this huge cliffhanger as they're all on the ship. We know what the next episode is going to be. Din and Bo are going to fight. I think Din is going to win. Who knows? Really, I think that what this is doing is that Din is going to be the next leader of Mandalore. Because if Bo-Katan wins, I think that's a little wrong. She's done some iffy things in the past. And sure, Din has been a bounty hunter. Don't know. Whatever happens, what happens. I can't really predict what's going to happen in the show, other than these two characters are going to fight. If Moff Gideon's captured, I think Bo-Katan is going to end up working with Moff Gideon. I don't think she's going to end up being a good guy. Also, I think, along with everyone else, that it was R2-D2 that saved Grogu. They did seem to have a relationship already, that they knew each other. R2 got very happy when he met Grogu in that ship. It was cute to see. I love seeing the droid animatronic for R2. So cool. I really like this episode. There's a lot of good stuff in it. It's just some stuff took things away from me. Like how our characters are getting through the ship. This is maybe the third or fourth episode in this season alone where we have our characters shooting down stormtroopers continuously. Again and again. These stormtroopers pose zero threat whatsoever. Our characters aren't in any danger with them. They're just breezing through by them, easily taking them down. And yes, it's awesome to see these four badass women take them down. I'm not negating the moment for the characters. I'm negating that there isn't a solid threat level because stormtroopers have been made to be a fucking joke. They are the butt of every joke as to how weak the Empire is and how boring they are. They're very exceptionally boring. One, we aren't really getting to know any of them, so they can just be shot off and dead. Just a body. Two, I would say with the sequel trilogy, Stormtroopers became a joke. They're a little bit of a joke with Return of the Jedi. It's iffy, it's meh. So I'm really just not invested to see our characters just shoot down stormtroopers. The Dark Troopers are a really great addition because that's a next level boss that they had to defeat, and they don't really have the weapons or know how to. I will say the score for this episode is incredible. The best the score has been the entire series. It's comparable to stuff that George Lucas did. The score of this episode is amazing. Now that we talked about the whole episode, we're going to talk about this season as a whole. I don't think it's good as season 1. Narratively, season 1 had a lot more drive to it. Sure, it did have one really, really bad episode, but the beginning and the end made sense. You start where you began. And I liked what they did with the characters. The growth of Din learning to trust droids and seeing his relationship with the child begin to develop, other people trusting him making relationships outside of being a loner Mandalorian. Stuff I love about season 2 is they nail Ahsoka to the fucking T. Episode 5 is outstanding. And lore-wise, I like what they did. Introducing Bo-Katan into the show, brilliant. Introducing Boba Fett into the show, brilliant. Bringing back Ming-Na Wen's character, brilliant. Now you have someone to stand next to Boba for his own show. Really awesome, amazing. Cara Dune's gonna get her own show, which is unfortunate because she should be like the secondary character, like you're another main character in this show. I think we need more main characters other than just Din. Now that you have Grogu leaving with Luke, that relationship thing is weird. It's gonna be boring a little bit, seeing him on his own the whole time. He needs someone there with him. Because then what you have is you just have Din talking to himself, or really not talking at all, and that's not good for us watching, because how are we to know what's going on inside his head? At least when he's talking to Grogu, Grogu can't really communicate back with him, but you understood, like you got from Din that he's frustrated about something's going wrong, here's what the plan is. Otherwise, you're just going to have more rotating supporting cast. I want more characters to stick with Din so they can all go on an arc together. Sure, giving them their own show is fine. You have the money to do it. Let more people create stuff. Awesome. More people get jobs. That's great. Just narratively, it's not hitting for me. Do I still love The Mandalorian? Of course. It's a very good show that the cinematography for is just perfect. That's what I look for, is the visuals. Story-wise and other things come second to me, and they are bringing it, just not as much as season 1. I am so excited for more Star Wars. Every show, every movie they're gonna put out, I will be there for. You're not losing me with Star Wars with this. I think it is saving the franchise. I just wish they kind of didn't bring Luke into it. Just a little bit. Don't like that Luke came in. I think that's everything I gotta say. If not, I'll make another Star Wars video later on if I come up with anything else. But for now, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching all of these Mandalorian videos. It was weird me going back to doing television shows. I did The Walking Dead for a while. So going back to TV shows, which was a weekly thing, trying to put out at least a video weekly, putting the work into it, it's a little tough. Especially, trying not to make YouTube seem so much like work and make it be fun is the big thing for me. And this did revitalize my love for making videos when making movie reviews can get a little monotonous at times. So in the comments down below, let me know what you thought about the season finale of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. If you like this video, give a like. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye! I do really, really love this season. I'm not hating on it. A little bit of choices here and there aren't spectacular. You could have had any other Jedi come to get Grogu, but no, it had to be Luke, because Luke gets people to watch it, because Luke is amazing! He is amazing, but you have other Jedi in canon that can come save him. If you're saving those for later, cool. Hopefully they're utilized well. The fact that we don't see Grogu in any of the sequel trilogy movies, don't know what's going to happen to him, but he should be there to take down Palpatine and Rise of Skywalker, and we don't see him, so Don't know what they're gonna do with him.